So it's Wednesday, and I thought, what should you do on the first Wednesday of every month? You should bring out a podcast, and this is actually what I do. So this is the very first episode of this brand new podcast that I'm doing with artists that been in the studio for some sort of production whatsoever. And my first guest on this very new podcast is NIKO from NIKO and the Sinister Blues, a great folk blues, not blues folk, that order project that we started a while ago, and we actually worked a fair bit together. I hope you enjoy our conversation. Have fun. Loud enough?
Yeah, I should do it.
So, welcome to be the first person on this podcast.
Yeah, Fabs, thanks for having me. You're really starting off with a bang. Yeah.
With a big bang.
Yeah,
but that's
sure.
what this podcast is about. It's about these unsung heroes, the music you never heard.
Yeah, and probably never will.
Hopefully after that.
Yeah, sure. How are you today? We haven't seen in quite a while.
A lot of stuff to do.
A lot of stuff to do.
I hope you will.
Yeah.
Prepared for the rehearsal?
Yeah, sure. Probably me the most, I guess.
Probably. I checked the chords like an hour ago or something.
Well, at least it's something.
We make that happen. It will be a good show. Coming up whenever. But we come back to playing shows later. I want to ask you, because I roughly know where it all started with the music. I know there's a band called The Cold, but I have no idea how you actually started music.
How I started music. Well, when you hit puberty, you usually start to develop a taste in music, whether it being the rock kind of type or the hip hop stuff. But at that time, Linkin Park, Limp Bizkit was like the big thing, running all day long on MTV.
Back in the days, where
Back
there's
in
music,
the days,
where there's music on MTV. Is MTV still a thing at all?
I guess so, but there's probably not one music video running in the whole week.
I have no idea.
No, and I had like a big corn phase, and it really struck a chord in me. So I was like really blown away by how hard and rough it was, and it sounded weird because the guitar players are actually not doing any, I would say, normal or conventional guitar sounds. It's all like very, very obscure, and I tried to get my mother into buying me a electric guitar because she didn't want to. She thought it was like a phase, and he'll probably just won't pick it up anyway. So my devilish aunt, who we shall not name, bought me a cheapo electric guitar set with a 5-watt guitar amp. And so I actually then started to play. My mom had to book me lessons. And it started from there. Yeah. Got into like the first bands where you like butcher all the usual cover songs. Yeah.
Okay, so not 3-chord bullshit. We write our own stuff, band straight away, but covers.
Yeah, that's what you would do when you're 14, 15.
Okay, so we're talking 14, 15.
I started when I was 13. Yeah.
Okay. But I
probably should have mentioned that 20 minutes ago.
But I know you played the drums in The Cold.
Yeah. When I was, I guess, around 15, I started to develop interest in drums.
So guitar has been a phase. So your mom was right.
Nah, yeah, in some way, maybe in some wunderkind way. Now he wants to start a new instrument every 2 years. Nah, yeah, but actually, when I said I wanted to start the drums, she actually bought me a kit, so I didn't have to really like work her into.
So what's better on a drum set than on a 5-word guitar?
Both sounded just the way you thought they would sound. Yeah, but I didn't have lessons on drums, so I just kind of moved my way through it. And I'd say I have a fairly solid way. I totally suck on double bass. I tried to in my metal phase, but never worked. Yeah, but to come back to the name you mentioned, the Cold A, former Frankfurt-based dark wave, cold wave, new wave band. Yeah, music you'd listen when you have a black nail polish and have like patchouli incense and all. Yeah,
the good scene.
Yeah, and when you're like from here and you've heard from them. Like, yeah, when was it? Like 2004, 5 onwards. And I met them when I was still into photography. I met them at NatsB here in Frankfurt. And yeah, there was apparently, that was their last gig with the founding drummer. And so I just said jokingly, yeah, well, I'll come over, I'll do it. And then the singer, Uwe, he actually said, yeah, okay, let's do it.
So there was no audition, nothing?
No, they knew I liked it. And then I just showed up to a rehearsal and there was actually no like, yeah, there was no
audition.
Yeah, audition, nothing like recall or anything. It was just, okay, he's in now.
And how big were they at this time?
Yeah,
because playing NatsB is not the smallest venue you can book in Frankfurt.
Sure. The first record dropped in 2004 and was quite the hit for the dark wave measures. 5 years after that, the second album, that 2009, and I would say from my outer position that they kind of lost the momentum. It could have been bigger.
Right, before you came in.
Right, because already at the time of the first record, they already played like the big stage at VGT, the Wave Gothic Treffen at the Agra Halle.
Oh, holy, okay.
Yeah, and so I really can't say why, but yeah, it seemed like it dropped off a bit over the years. But no judging. I can't work this shit out after 20 years now, so I'm not judging.
Whatever, all good.
But
all
yeah, yeah, coming back to like 2010, end of 2010, that was the last gig with the former drummer, and then I jumped in 2011, and then already had really cool shows that year. VGT again,
but not at Agra.
No, but Parkbühne, which is quite the
pretty much the same size.
Yeah, we did a support for the Bollock Brothers, who have been the support band for the Sex Pistols, if you punk guys don't know. Yeah, Exploding Boy.
Oh, you played Did you play Exploding Boy in 2013?
No,
11.
1st of June 2011, if I remember correctly. That was support for the drummerless band Exploding Boy from like Sweden, I guess.
Yeah, Sweden. Yeah. Because I saw them 2012 or 2013 in Das Bett in Frankfurt. It was one of the first shows. And I'm just thinking, did we actually sort of meet in Das Bett not knowing each other? No, okay.
Yeah, would have been great, but unfortunately not. No.
Yeah, but great band. I love them. And they're awesome. I wrote them a message because a couple I know met at this particular concert.
Okay.
And I wanted to play a song at their wedding. And I wrote them an email because there's no chords in the internet. Would you mind sending me a chords? I want to send this. Yeah. And they actually wrote back, yeah, here's the chords. It's pretty easy. And please say our greetings to the couple. It was actually quite cute.
Cool, cool.
Nice guys.
Cool.
Anyway, we take quite a long time on something. I wanted to skim over just a bit. So, where's this? You stopped the cold because the band split up?
No, was in January, I think, 2012, shortly after the 40th birthday of the singer. He had a severe stroke and was found quite late by his then girlfriend in their living room. And didn't turn out too great. So he still can really move his left arm to this day, and you can see it in his face like a bit. So definitely no singing whatsoever, guitar probably never again. So it in some way dissolved because of
obviously.
And then after I haven't had any contact with any of those guys since then, but word had reached me that good 4 weeks ago the guitar player of the Code had passed away. Was weird and shocking, and it gets you thinking at this point when you're like past 30 years. You kind of start like, thinking differently and in a sort of more vulnerable. Just drop that like that. Then, that's it.
That's it. Okay. And so you didn't want to stop music because this is pretty much the point where we both met. I try to do a one-man full-blown bullshit excuse of a band. Which is the pattern which might return in this podcast.
Could be. Yeah, because it's like, the pattern, it repeats itself,
The one man bullshit, what's that?
One excuse of a band. I was young and then I thought,
all good. It's
when I record my songs, somebody will pick it up, but unfortunately that's not how it works. So it turned out just as you would imagine.
Yes, it worked out, I think. Because, we skip over the sort of try to make a band thing why we met. We just skip over it.
The usual thing.
The usual
all
thing. I tried to found a band and he was the guitar player. And reasons why that didn't happen, we will not talk about.
Yeah, but we had a drummer and none of us has met.
Yeah, never seen in the rehearsal space, which was great. Anyway, no, we're not talking about that.
No.
But then I can't remember how I picked up Northern accent. I think you remember.
Yeah.
So you tell me. So for you guys who don't know, Northern accent is the predecessor to NIKO and the Sinister Blues.
Yeah, well, only if you take a look at who's singing and who's playing the keys. Well, then probably.
And who's producing the fucking record.
Producing the shit, yeah. Now, after that not even half band we try to do. We kind of like not really lost like contact, but we haven't talked for probably half a year, I guess, something like that.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, let's try another successful band on my own. And this time I've tried to do like a more post-punky version of neo-folk. And I recorded 2 tracks on my own just to like get some demo versions out. I posted it on Facebook, and you kind of like wrote, hey, that doesn't sound too shabby. Why don't you come over to the studio and talk a bit? Maybe let me produce a long player, as they say.
Which actually exists.
Which exists.
Actually turns out.
Yeah, right.
And it's a great record.
Yeah, and somebody wrote a bachelor's degree or like a...
Yeah.
Not degree, what would you call it? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a degree.
Yeah,
he
sure.
wrote his thesis.
Oh,
thesis
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like,
about this record. Yeah, actually, Philip, my ex-partner, who was heavily involved in this record. Anyway, I think we need to skip a bit because I actually want to talk about NIKO and the Sinister Blues and all the stuff we did. I actually wrote down we should talk about gigs with northern accent, but I don't know if we should. Actually, let's skip over it. We just played a few shows together. I was playing keys with you on the guitar, and we had some fun ones. Let's call it and leave it like that.
Yeah, the thing was the actual music was written for like a 4-piece band, and then we had like this option of doing a duo version, being me singing, playing guitar, and then you on the keys. And it turned out that the actual full band shows like failed pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say completely our fault, but partly.
You think?
Yeah, well, I don't know. If you have a drummer that doesn't bring his snare to a gig, I don't know. Well, maybe that's not the booker's fault.
Yeah, but that didn't show on the shows.
Yeah, sure.
And we never got.
No, but it seemed like that the band shows. What matter it have maybe been at the end were pretty. I wouldn't even say bad, but kind of like pointless.
Yeah.
We had a full band show at a metal miniature festival. I don't know how would you call that, in Darmstadt at Goldene Krone, but the bigger stage. And so they booked us for like a warm up support slot, and there was, I guess, probably 10 people max, actually.
Including the other bands.
Probably, yeah.
But Kusel was even worse.
Kusel was even worse. There was a 3-day festival. And Kusel is here from Frankfurt like a 2-hour drive, I guess.
Yeah.
And they booked us for the Friday starting slot at like 7 o'clock.
Didn't they actually made this slot just for us?
Could have been. Well, because I know the sound guy there, and he actually always likes what I do, so he just figured, come just we'll find a place for you guys. But I mean, to start any festival at 7 o'clock on Friday is quite pointless. But then again, have a band drive 2 hours for this particular spot. I mean, you could have seen it coming, really. But
anyway,
what you could do.
For you German-speaking people, there is a ranting video I did in back in the days when this YouTube channel was German. So you can watch it. I try to link it somewhere here. It's a funny 10-minute rant video of myself about this gig. Anyway, I think we played a lot of nice-ish shows.
We traveled a lot. I'd say for the size of the band.
Yeah.
More or less whole through Germany.
what I actually want to talk about in this podcast particular is the fact that it didn't manifest itself at all in plays, in sale of merch or something.
Nothing.
So like playing a show, I can talk about this show because I was involved in it. So playing a festival, a neo-folk festival in Greifswald, which I understood was quite a big one.
Yeah, I guess so.
Compared to the scene, let's say 50 people there-ish?
No. They've
More?
printed 100 tickets.
100 tickets. Okay. Underestimated that. And we played the first show of 3 bands. Get amazing feedback from everyone there, including the booker just licking our asses the whole weekend.
Yeah.
And selling no shirts, no records, and having no plays afterwards, and no more likes on any social media.
Yeah.
And I think that's the death of Northern Accent, actually.
Sure. Because earlier that year, we played support for Rome here in Frankfurt. And I'm always kind of thinking I want to like go step by step and work my way from there. So when I think I play a bigger show, then get some connections there, get something working. On one hand, everybody's like saying, it's great shit. But then again, then you have no place, no nothing, no one buys shit. And I thought the booker connection, I thought I would like kind of get my foot in the door, didn't work at all. So it kind of like dissolved into nothing. Yeah. Because where do you go from like this weird position? No one's bought the record, so I'm not just go back in the studio and record another one that no one's gonna really listen or buy. And then you have to build from somewhere. But if there's nothing to build up from.
And just to understand, we didn't play just 3 shows. We played like 10 shows over 2 or 3 years.
Could be.
So it's not just like a digital project and you just uploaded the music on Spotify and waited for the magic to happen.
We actually traveled.
Actually, something happened. Just so you people out there understand the issue about this. And so this is the transition to NIKO and the Sinister Blues, because I remember you being sort of depressed about all this not happening. I was like, okay, we have to persevere a bit longer, but I totally understood you pulling the plug and saying that's it. But at some point you came back.
Wait, I've got coffee. Oh, no.
Yeah. So what's the reason of coming back with something completely different musically? I mean, the organization is pretty much spot on the same thing you did with Northern Accent, having a booked band. So none of us guys is involved in the creative aspect, and you just come in here and play the record on your own.
Yeah. No, the thing is, with these type of things, I'm kind of a bit childish, I guess, because I don't think I've got like one sincere feedback from that band. It ranged from like this the greatest shit. I don't know what it is, and then it's a complete rip off from Rome.
We're talking Northern Accent.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it annoyed me so hard that I can't even listen to any of the genre anymore.
You don't listen to neofolk at all?
No. Since I've like said no, never listen to anything from that genre or era again.
Well, that's devastating.
Yeah, well.
Okay.
And it's actually music I enjoyed listening, making, but the return was weird. Not there, but just weird. You think when people like praise your stuff, you'd kind of feel it in a way that you
Yeah, you
exist.
get gratitude back. Yeah.
But yeah, especially the goth scene is like, yeah, well, a lot yada yada. Yeah, and then okay. Genre-wise, it's a complete different thing. But as for today, people are not that focused on one thing anymore, I guess. And I try to be more grounded, more mature. In hindsight, on my age, when you're past 30, I think it's weird when you see like on these big goth festivals, you see these 50-year plus people still doing like the depressed little boy. I didn't see me doing that. So I try to be more loud, direct, honest, but still in a way, I wouldn't say melancholic, but in a more vulnerable way. When you have like themes of death in all of the goth kind of subcategories, it's always very romanticized. But lately, I'm not viewing it as trendy anymore. If you know.
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean.
totally with you on that. I think we're both in the same feeling the same, because I've been in the gothic scene myself, listening to different music than you've been, but I grew out of it.
Yeah.
I just grew out of it.
At some point.
At some point, okay, it's good music. Sometimes, and sometimes it's just cringy. I mean, my wife enjoys ISP. Okay, fine for her.
All right.
That's her taste in music. That's all fine. If I listen to this lyric, I'm like, that's pretty much spot on Schlager.
Yeah.
With a drum beat, and that's it, and some heavy guitars.
Yeah.
And for me, it's just too easy, not artistic enough, whatever. And I just felt like I grew out of it. At some point in my life, I enjoyed having this really flat lyrics telling me I am sad,
Yeah, sure.
and that's it. But at
it's
some
not
point,
very
you just
differentiated. Yeah.
no, not at all. But it's fine if people listen to this type of music just to get the sensation or feel a place home. I felt home in the gothic scene, so that's all good. No judgment at all about the gothic scene.
Up until some point.
Yeah. Where
Well,
you
when you
hopefully
like
grew out of it.
Yeah, when you're like 20, you probably think you know everyone who's wearing black. But when it actually comes down to more like human topics where like your visual appearance doesn't matter at all, a lot of people are just as hollow or shallow as you think they are.
Yeah.
And there was quite a not wake up call. I don't want to be too dramatic here, but even this scene is not as what it seems to be, as mostly any subculture, I guess.
But we talked a lot about gothic scene now. But my question actually was, how did you find your motivation to move from Northern Accent to NIKO and the Sinister Blues? Because I remember you being really pissed off and
That's
having
me every
no
other day.
interest. Yeah, okay. Being more pissed off than you
Than
are on
usual,
a normal Monday morning. But I thought you just quit music at all. And then at some point, pretty much all of a sudden, you said, I'm back.
Yeah.
So where did this come from?
I actually can't tell you this in a way like, why do you like the color blue? Like, it's, yeah, well, that's just the way it is. But to be to have a more mature answer to this, I told you already that I started with more of a metal background, being at that point Linkin Park, Korn, and then the usual switch to Metallica, and then so far, yeah, no. So I feel like I'm more back to the roots now, but with my own personality to some point.
But we're not doing metal.
No, but all metal and rock stuff just comes really back to a really rancid blues song. It really is. It's all minor pentatonic. It doesn't actually really matter how much you turn up the gain. That just but if I just showed up and then played another fucking chuck generic core, I would have just felt like as weird as I did in Northern Accent.
Yeah, sure.
I can do this now and look back at it in 10 years and not just be like completely disappointed by myself.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
If
Because
it
I love
turns
your
out,
music.
thanks. At least it's someone.
I hope it's more people. So you said it doesn't matter how much you turn on the gain, because that's actually something I want to not only talk about how to come to music and how to feel like an independent artist not succeeding, which is a topic I want to talk about in this podcast, but I also want to talk about sounds. And you actually said it doesn't matter how much you turn on the gain. So, I mean, Northern Accent just been acoustic guitar and vocals and the rest behind it, but now it's completely different. So where does this sound come from? And I know, because I produced the records, that it's quite a journey to this day, and I don't know how your guitar sounds or the whole sound of the band will turn out in half a year. So where does this come from? What's the influence? What's the thought behind it? Is there a thought behind the sound of NIKO and the Sinister Blues?
There is actually, but as you've already mentioned before, we've talked about it, is that I had a fairly clear vision, if I may say so, when I started recording the first songs. And now that time has passed a bit and we started rehearsing the song with a band, they kind of develop on their own. It's like I can't even really control or shape it anymore. It's just like when we come to My Cousin's a Centerfold, the record is actually quite not that heavy as I'd like to play it now. Because when I'm in the room with a band is a different thing than sitting in your living room, writing a song and then coming in the studio and then recording every instrument on their own. It's it's a different sound.
Yeah.
And so I kind of try to get it more to a point that it makes sense. But if you want to go into mentioning influences for the stuff,
You don't have to, but I think
yeah,
we all
it's
have.
it's no problem for me. But it's everyone hears probably a different influence when they heard it the first time. I don't know, but I definitely say it's a mixture between ZZ Top, Tom Waits, and Nick Cave. It's kind of like a stew of all of them three, because you have like bits and tiny pieces from all of them combined.
But is this intentional? So do you sit down writing a new song saying this needs to be out of this
more Waitsy.
soup, or is it just happening?
Well, your style is being reflected by the stuff you listen to. Well, that's a natural thing.
Yeah.
But at times, yeah, when I write it, I think, oh, is this too ZZ Top? Is this too Tom Waitsy? Do I need a bit more of that, or do I just go what I feel like? It really depends on my mood. It could be like that I feel like I'm ripping off, and then at other times I don't know where I'm going. Well, I've already asked you this as well, as I like my songs, all the types I do, but at times I think they don't really go hand in hand.
The early stuff to the latest stuff.
Yo, not even that, but
mentioning songs is fine. They're all down in the description, and people can listen to it.
Yeah,
clickbaity.
I need my 0.4 cents, please. When I look like at songs like Zeitgeist, and I'm trying. I'm being honest here. Yeah, I don't know how this is coming back to me at some point. I don't know. I had like this phase. Some or many guitarists have in their life, that they're trying to be Stevie Ray Vaughan when they bought their Strat. And I just really tried to like, and yeah, well, it worked for the song. But if I look at what I'm trying to be, or what I think I am, that's just a bit more that this one's quite a stretch. If I would
seriously,
if I would recall it again, I'd go a different route. Yeah.
Seriously, because I think Zeitgeist is not the one completely out of the line. I think Thy Misery, which you don't know and which you can't listen to yet, is way further out there, because it's, as you said, an old new Northern accent song.
Yeah, sure. Yep. Yeah.
And what I think is funny is that I can't even pinpoint the thing why a song doesn't sound like the other. Because just so the listeners know, all songs were done in pairs.
Yeah, so and that's probably the reason, or the problem, because of it, to not produce albums like 10 tracks in one go, but to have like always a pair of songs, 6-7 months between them. I think it's pretty hard to get a real
a consistent sound. Sound
out of it.
But I think that some, let's call them singles or A-sides, fit together, and then some A and B sides fit together, but then the B side from one single doesn't fit to the A side from another single, but
Yeah.
the A side does.
Yeah.
So that doesn't make sense because A and B were done at the same time.
Yeah.
So and this is something I find pretty funny, and I can't get my head around, and I actually struggled in mixing and producing this stuff to make it sound coherent, and actually I just gave up. and I just made the song sound good, hopefully, or trashy enough to your likings. But I can't get my head around why they're not working. I mean, I totally understand that when did we start playing real drums? The last song, which is not out yet.
No, on Not Leaving Down South, I played.
That's the first real
it's
drum
the first
thing?
one I actually played. Yeah.
Because this is something I understand. So just so you know, the first
Two
singles,
releases. Yeah.
so the first 4 songs,
Yeah.
the first 2 releases,
Mhm.
were done with programmed drums. We actually took quite some time figuring out the sounds. I bought some new sounds for Easy Drummer and stuff. We took quite a while to program the drums, but then, you being a drummer, said I want to play it myself, and I mean, the only downside was that the drum set we have here in the studio is pretty shit, but we use Trigger, and I think just you playing this thing,
It's breathing more.
It's
It's really becoming alive now.
Yeah, so this is one thing I'd say, okay, here's a change in sound. Not only because it's a different... No, it's not even a different sound. Power-wise, I just used the same sounds of Easy Drummer. So it's not even that. Anyway, but just you playing it live made it different. Okay, this is an obvious cut in sound. So you can say between... What's before Not Leaving Down South?
Easy on the eyes.
Is it Easy on the... Okay, so between Easy on the Eyes and Not Leaving Down South, there's a obvious break. But the guitar sounds were cohesive, weren't they?
Yeah, well, but
It's all the Blue Amp
It's
1.
all to the Blue Guitar M1 we've used for all the guitar sounds, and we also used it for bass on the last record and the coming record. So I guess that's and the same cap.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, same guitars. Yeah. But now that I've got a really, really fine amp, the next one,
Which is fucking loud.
if it ever may come out, it'll have a different guitar sound then again. Yeah.
But Not Leaving... the new stuff, is it? No, it's not amp. That's Blue Amp 1 still.
Yeah, sure. No, I mean,
If one.
there ever may be a release after the one coming, then it'll be my Sur Ombre.
Which is a fucking loud amp.
It's 18 watts.
And fucking loud. Anyway, so one thing I think stands out on all these records is your voice.
Yeah.
And I quite like your voice, especially compared to Northern Accent.
Yeah, sure.
And you mentioned that.
And I've mentioned it, several times.
To me several times. And I really, really like the sound of your voice in the last songs. And yes, we have this issue of developing the songs during this whole period of making the records. But where does this come from, and why do you choose to sing like that?
I gotta be quite honest. When you have like heavy guitars and the drums are banging, and then you have like a singer who's singing like this on this like kind of level, but I want like to have the the vocals just as rancid through a guitar amp, like really going out there, being authentic and halfway blowing it, but to a degree where I can live with it. It's not what was it? Not King Diamond, where he sings like 5 octaves above me. That's not kind of what I'm going for here.
But has it been intentional on singing that way, or does it just happen?
I always wanted to, but I kind of learned it. I started singing late, so my progress being quite late here. But probably 2 years ago, I kind of like figured out how to really knock it out of the park.
Okay. And so is there a record you listen to and said, yes, that's something? Like, I mean, an obvious influence could be the cover we're playing now, which is I Put a Spell on You.
Yeah.
Is this like you listened to it and said, yes, I want to do exactly that thing? Or
No, actually my big vocal hero being Phil Anselmo from Pantera and Down. And obviously he's way more capable than I am, but you need someone to look up to, yeah. And I just figured out that the blues guitar players who also sang kinda like sang in the same way. They yelled their asses off and they really had the natural vocal distortion going on. So it's actually not too metal, but I think like I'm reaching for a slightly metal vocal tone. But I think it fits really well to
it does.
Like a more rancid blues.
It does, and I think it transports the
Yeah.
emotion
Yeah.
quite well, because you can hear every inch of anger.
Yeah, that's that's part of the point.
Yeah, I understand. And actually, when we recorded I Put a Spell on You, I put that through a tube preamp.
Almost blew it.
And it was all red, the whole song. The clipping LED was on like 3 minutes. So
I bought the whole preamp and I'm gonna use the whole preamp.
yeah, gotta use the whole tube that's in there. I'm quite interested to see what we can do, since I have the Neve one. What's that sounding like with your voice being all red? Quite curious about that. But anyway,
Sure.
So we talked about guitar, we talked about drums. Nobody cares about bass.
Yeah, sure. Why? Why would anybody care about rock bass? Because there's probably 2 capable bass players in rock. Maybe 4 or 5, but that's probably a stretch.
But our bass player will ring the bell in like 10 minutes, being 30 minutes early. So I think we should wrap up this podcast pretty soon, because he's always a bit early, but that's fine. We like him. So yeah, we're gonna rehearse now in a bit.
Yeah.
For some shows coming up whenever.
And hope makes some sense of it, sound-wise.
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah.
Quite a challenge to get the monitoring right in the first place. But what's on the table for you? What's the goal, or do you just wait and see what's happening in the next year or so?
I try to not be too bitter about every step now as I was back in Northern Accent, because it's not serving me well, and it's definitely not helping the band one bit. So I'll just go step by step, just get the band sounding tight, do a few shows, and then see where we can get from there. Well, if you ask me what I wish for, well, that's probably another thing, but
No, specifically, this is not what I'm asking. I'm seriously asking about what's the plan, because I think the issue with a lot of indie bands I know is that the ambition are like somewhere in the sky, and they will never happen, and then they will be depressed because it's never gonna happen, and then they quit music totally. And that's just a waste of talent. I think there's so many wasted talents out there because they just thought they're gonna be the next rock star, but they never were. So again, so what's the is there a goal, a defined goal for you in terms of, in 1 year's time, I want to have that many Instagram followers and I want to play that many shows where actually people show up, or you just wait and see?
I would like to play as many shows as possible, but being a newcomer, not having any connections whatsoever, would be great if we play like 10 shows. Well, it would be something. But yeah, I don't care really too much about Instagram followers, because that's not buying me shit. But what I'm a bit concerned about is what do we do after we've played a number of shows? What's the next step from there? I'm thinking, well, do I need a label? Do I not need one? I'd like to have a booker, but that's up to them if they want us, and that's not up to me.
So it's basically wait and see.
Yeah. Well, regarding the things I can't control.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
And is there anything you would be bitter about? Anything that made you quit music after that? Failing like the second time?
I'd actually prefer to hear people booing or cheering, but to like just dissolving into the whole noise of nothingness that just would like feel like the whole pointless of humanity. I don't see myself as one being born, eat shit, fuck, and then die. That's not my persona. So I would like to leave some sort of artistic footstep here. So if it's shit there, well then boo, and then I know it's shit. But to just some way nod it off, and then did you like it? Didn't you like it? I don't know. That's what what happened in Northern Accent.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want to repeat that.
Okay. So how do we end this podcast on a high?
We can end it like this. You don't like to celebrate your birthday, but you have your birthday coming on in a few days, and I brought you a little... It's
after this podcast.
And I brought you a little gift, and I'm gonna give it to you.
Oh my fucking God.
But don't open it until the 28th of November.
27th.
Oh, fuck. Then it's 27th.
I know what it is, so He made me a pedal already, and I know
Well,
this is another pedal. Yeah, I can pretty much I can feel the jack in and output. So and I can feel the what's it called, the button to press. So I know it's a pedal, and I ask him for a shit pedal, and I guess it's a shit pedal, and I say many thanks, because he made me another pedal before for the 10th anniversary of the studio. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we're gonna rehearse now the great 10 songs.
No, it's probably 8 songs, I guess. Max.
I don't know.
8 max.
I don't know. Hopefully playing a few shows. If I have
near you,
shit band coming to
a
you.
shit club.
to a shit club coming to you soon. If there are any dates, I will leave them somewhere in the description.
We'll let you know.
We will let you know. Follow this awesome project on Instagram and all the social medias he doesn't use.
Well, I halfway use it.
Yeah, but
I'll post what's important, but I'm not gonna do a live Q&A in my underwear.
oh, let's do this.
Yeah, well, maybe I have more success with ASMR.
No.
Do a OnlyFans? I don't know what the hip kids do today.
Pornhub.
Are they paying more than Spotify?
Pornhub without drama. Anyway, anyway, thanks very much for watching. Follow this guy. Not watching, listening.
Follow Obscure Music Studio.
Don't. And yeah, thanks very much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Good luck to the future. But why do I say good luck? Because I'm involved in that luck. So it's a bit odd. It's a bit odd. It's a bit odd wishing you good luck with your music. But yeah. Anyway, I hope we succeed, and I'm pretty sure we will succeed. If you have any questions about this or anything you'd like to talk, there's a comment section down below. Feel free, and yeah, follow this guy. And till next, whenever, I haven't figured out a schedule yet. So there you go. Thanks very much for coming, and
bye bye.
Goodbye.